Hey guys, happy Friday. I wanted to wish you guys a happy Friday, and I always appreciate your support, you guys. Um, I love my friends, and I just want you to know that. I was recently on a debate. I put a post up this morning about the fact that I'd been kicked off Stars and Stripes Facebook page, which is a military page. And there was some question on the fact that I'm disrespectful, so it's no wonder that I was kicked off of a page. What they don't realize is, although that I do have an aggressive nature, at times I wish I could have saved it. I had a pretty respectful post on there. They were talking about the boundless power of the military, and that, as I'd stated in yesterday's video, only when challenged and providing source documentation did they actually kick me off and not feel like they had to answer any of my questions. That's fine. Hey, it's a free country, right? They don't feel like they have to answer my questions. But what it really conferred to me was that, or conveyed to me was that, you know, they say that the attitude simply looks to me as though there's a definite superiority issue where you know, we need to honor these men as they strive, or as they're given this boundless power as we continue to do our kind of strange military worship, where we really are a foundationless country. We no longer have moral principles. We no longer have a foundation on American government, and yet somehow we're supposed to be able to honor our military, and how dare us question anybody in government. This is very dangerous, and most people are short-sighted enough not to see that. The thing that I wanted to state is that people will tell me that I'm, you know, that I'm aggressive, and that, and this is, you know, it's disrespectful. And I wanted to ask somebody I wanted to ask you guys something. You know, it's not rocket science, at least for me, to be able to understand that American liberty is under assault. Every freedom that we have, like I said, we've become a foundationalist system. We've got no moral compass. We've got no political compass. We've got no economic compass. We've got no direction. We have no understanding of where we're going. Well, for those of us that have taken the time to be able to study the issues, much of the information that I've learned from you guys along the way, and I appreciate you so much for that, is the fact that we believe that it's okay not to question authority. And somehow those that question authority are the ones that are disrespectful. Well, I'm trying to understand things through logic and common sense and through my basic understanding of the law, and I was actually going through The Law of Nations by Elmer Vitale last night, talking about the law of nations, actually, between, you know, how the laws should act between nations. And one of the things that I read that was a fundamental perspective, and most of the time when you go back into these old documents, there are tons of biblical references, is that the basic understanding of law is do unto others as you would expect them to do unto you. And that was a very fundamental principle in the Law of Nations, and it's something that should really apply to the American, the foundation of America, because we were always seen as a beacon of hope for all nations. We were never seen as a totalitarian, oppressive, aggressive, offensive, tactical place where we needed to fight off political enemies that somehow our U.S. government seems to create, or governments of other countries seem to create, as the governments themselves have had a history of fighting amongst each other to be able to fulfill this political will, using the citizens of these nations and our military as pawns. And I don't say that out of disrespect, and I don't say it lightly. It is what it is. So my existence, to be absolutely clear, is to be able to utilize every ounce of freedom of speech to challenge everything. I challenge the authority of everyone. The problem is that it's seen as a sign of disrespect, and I think I need to ask this question. If government takes an oath, then they need to understand the oath. And if they don't understand the oath, then it is a useless oath. It once was a solemn oath, which I believe was to God as the ultimate accountability, but now somehow is only an oath that's reduced to man. And we all know man's fallible nature. As he's fallen from grace, But it is necessary in this system to be able to challenge government. We need to challenge law enforcement. We need to challenge our legislators. We need to challenge our governor. We need to challenge our military. We need to challenge each other. A biblical scripture I'm reminded of is iron sharpens iron. Anybody can have their own sort of design their own context, but to me it's quite simple. You and I need to be able to come together, and we need to reason with one another. We need to look at the critical facts of a particular issue, and we need to debate the issue, not throwing these ad hominem attacks, well, I'm a tin-hatted conspiracy theory, and that's your only response. When I'm trying to lay out something as intellectually as I can under my own present circumstances, talking about the government, well, why was the Constitution created? Well, to be able to get a response like you're some tin-hatted conspiracy theorist only negates the question, which makes you look like you're unable to answer the question. Is it a legitimate question? We have our governor that's calling in S-1067 now. This is not done on law. It was done through a lawful process. It's clearly unconstitutional, but you know what we want to do? We as the people, we want to operate on emotion. We want to abandon common sense. We don't want any adherence to the law. I was on the Kevin Miller show this morning. We were talking about that. And he basically said that ISIS is a threat. Sure it is. We've been told it's a threat, right? We don't know its origin. We don't know what it's doing. And yet we fail to see what governments have done throughout history. They've always oppressed their people by subjecting them to one of two things, or both. Either in the name of security or for the sake of the children. So the question then becomes is, should we abandon our Constitution when it comes to issues of the heart? And if we do, are we inviting ourselves a lawless nature, inviting chaos in the very thing that we're trying to prevent? I might not be very well spoken this time around, but what I'm here to be able to tell you is that we're either a nation of laws under the Constitution, understanding what that Constitution means, or there's no point in having a written law. There's no point in, if government is the ultimate authority, it completely contradicts the whole foundation on which this form of government was built. Should we allow the government to be able to treat us as servants, to be able to point their finger in your face and say, you will do as you are told? Is that a fundamental American principle? What about the citizens that point their finger in the government's face and say, you do not have the authority to do that? And they believe they do. And why is that? Because the people, we like to blame politicians, don't we? Oh yeah, it's the politicians' fault. Let's vote them all out, shall we? Well, why don't you pull a plank out of your own eye for a minute and realize that politicians are put there by the people if the election process really actually works? The government that we have is because you voted them in there. There aren't enough of us that understand the fundamental concepts of good government to be able to put a good government in there. The reason why they're doing all of these things is because everybody has voted them in. We need more laws to correct bad character traits. We need to have the government instill morality, even though on one hand, while we're writing laws that completely throw it out the window. We're a nation of chaos, man. We're the epitome of irony, where we say that we believe in one thing and we do the exact opposite. That's the new America. That's what we're subjecting our children to. And we're flying in the face of history as if it never existed, and we're going right back to where we were. Repeating history again. So I will continue to challenge government authority. I've got no problem with it. I take what comes. If you guys think that I'm being disrespectful in doing it, then show me how to do it a better way. Because I can tell you something. If you challenge government authority, it's going to be looked at as disrespect. Any more than anybody challenging you on your authority, you would be thinking that as disrespect. So anyway, just a couple thoughts I had today, guys. Happy Friday. Talk to you later. Bye.